Virgo, there are things you've always seen but were taught to ignore. Moments when you just knew something was off, even before anyone said a word. And that question that never leaves you. Why am I always the one fixing everything? It's not because you're picky. It's not because you're controlling. It's because you see what others can't. And today, you're going to find out why the universe hid that truth from you. Until now. This isn't just another video. This is a memory. And if you're still watching by the end, it's because something in you was always meant to wake up. Virgo, let's not waste a second. You didn't click this video by accident. Something deep inside you, maybe even something you can't name yet, led you here. And that's not just intuition. That's a spiritual calling trying to get your attention. You've always felt it. Haven't you, that low hum in the background of your life, like there's something more you're supposed to be doing? Something bigger you're supposed to be part of. But you couldn't explain it. You couldn't prove it. So you buried it under routines, responsibilities, and the endless drive to be useful. But the truth is, Virgo, you've never been ordinary. From the beginning, you were born with a sacred sensitivity that the world tried to shrink. They told you you were too intense, too particular, too serious. But all along, those traits were clues, proof that your soul came here with precision and purpose. And now it's time to remember who you really are. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through something that could shift the way you see your entire life. Not through fluff, not through fantasy, but by helping you recognize the hidden powers you've already been using just unconsciously. You don't need to become someone new. You just need to start seeing yourself clearly. And before we go any further, I want you to do something powerful. Think about a moment when you just knew something before it happened. Maybe it was a strange dream. Maybe it was that feeling in your gut. Maybe you sensed someone's pain before they even said a word. Got it? Good. Drop that moment in the comments right now, because that knowing that was real, that was your gift, and it's time we start taking it seriously. This isn't just a video, it's an initiation, and by the time we're done, you'll understand why the universe keeps putting you in places that require clarity, healing, and truth, and why it chose you to carry that light. Let's begin. Because here's the truth, your path was never meant to look like everyone else's. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to feel more, see more, carry more. And even though that's been exhausting at times, it's also what's prepared you to awaken in ways others simply can't. You don't need to wait for permission to activate what's already inside you. You just need the mirror, and that's what this message is. A mirror for your real self. The healer, the observer, the energetic architect, the soul who's been working behind the scenes, quietly holding the world together. So stay with me. Watch until the very end, because the version of you who's been waiting to be seen, we're about to bring them forward. Fully, finally, fearlessly. You know, Virgo, the biggest misunderstanding people have about you is this: they think you're just being picky, that you nitpick because you like control, that you're overly critical because you're hard to please. But let me tell you the truth, and it might even surprise you. What they're seeing isn't a flaw, it's a response. A deep, instinctive, energetic response to things that are out of alignment. Your spirit doesn't react to messiness because of vanity. It reacts because it can feel when something isn't flowing right. Think about all those times you walked into a room and immediately sensed that something was off even before anyone said a word. Or when you met someone and felt that strange little pause inside, even though they were smiling and polite. That wasn't anxiety or overthinking. That was your energetic field picking up disharmony and the urge to fix, to adjust, to organize. That's your built-in guidance system trying to realign the space, the moment, the energy, You're not trying to control people, you're trying to restore harmony. The problem is, the world doesn't see that. They call it controlling. They call it annoying. They call it exhausting. And over time, maybe even you started believing it. Maybe you began to think something was wrong with you because no one else seemed to feel things as deeply or as precisely as you do. But I'm here to tell you nothing is wrong with you. In fact, you've been working with sacred energy all along and didn't even know it. Let me give you an example. There was a Virgo woman I spoke with recently. She worked in accounting, very logical, very precise. One day, she felt this unexplainable urge to triple-check a report everyone else had already approved. It made no sense until she discovered a massive error that could have cost the company thousands. Nobody thanked her for her intuition. They just acted like she was doing her usual nitpicking. But what she did, that wasn't nitpicking. That was energetic detection, and I know you've done that too. You've spotted the lie before it was told. You've sensed the heartbreak before the words were spoken. You've prevented mistakes, avoided danger, or changed someone's path, all because you noticed something others didn't. That's not a coincidence. That's your magic, your ability to feel the invisible, to catch what others miss, to restore what's slipping out of balance. And it's time you stopped apologizing for it. All right, Virgo, let's get into something wild, your first spiritual superpower. You probably thought it was just being detail-oriented. But what if I told you that your ability to see what's out of place, what others miss, is actually a kind of energetic sight, like wearing a pair of invisible X-ray glasses that scan the unseen layers of life? This is what I call pattern vision, and it's not just sharp observation, it's spiritual perception. You don't just notice what's wrong, you feel it before it becomes obvious. You can sense when something's off in someone's energy, in the tone of a conversation, in the way a situation develops. That little tightening in your chest, or the hair standing on your neck, or that split-second hesitation you feel before agreeing to something, it's your internal radar going off. And most people ignore it, but not you. Because even if you try to brush it off, it keeps pinging. That's your gift talking. I'll give you an example. A Virgo nurse I know once walked into a hospital room and immediately froze. No alarms were sounding. The monitors were fine. The patient was awake. But she just felt something off. Within minutes, the patient went into shock and her instincts allowed her to act fast and save his life. Later, the doctors asked her how she knew. She couldn't explain it logically, but she didn't need to. Her energetic sensors had picked up on the shift before the machines did. Virgo, you've always had this, but the world trained you to explain it away, to say you're overthinking or too sensitive. They didn't see that you were actually reading energy patterns with scary precision. That gut feeling you get when you walk into a room and know something's been argued about. That chill when someone smiles but their energy doesn't match. You're not just observing, you're decoding. Here's what's powerful when you start trusting this sense. It grows sharper. It becomes a tool. You start avoiding situations that drain you. You spot opportunities before they're announced. You dodge emotional traps before they explode. And most importantly, you begin to trust yourself in ways that are truly unshakable. So, next time you feel that ping in your gut, don't second guess it. Sit with it. Ask it questions. What is this tension trying to tell me? What pattern is surfacing here? What truth am I being shown before it fully arrives? That's your pattern vision at work. It's not just a quirk of being a Virgo. It's your first activated power. Start using it like one. Oh, and if you've ever had a moment where you just knew and later you were proven right, drop that story in the comments. Not just for you, but for every other Virgo out there still learning to trust their gift. Because your pattern vision could be the exact insight someone else needs to wake up to their own. Now, Virgo, let's talk about your second spiritual gift, and honestly, this one might surprise you the most. It's something you've done your whole life without even realizing how powerful it is. I'm talking about your ability to purify energy. And no, I don't just mean cleaning your kitchen or color-coding your bookshelf, even though you're probably really good at that too. I'm talking about energetic cleansing, resetting the vibe in a space, clearing stagnant emotions, restoring peace where there was... Think about it. How many times have you walked into a room and felt that tension hanging in the air like you could slice it with a knife, and what's the first thing you do? You start picking things up. You open a window. You light a candle. You straighten the pillows, make tea, or just shift the furniture an inch to the left. And suddenly, everything feels better, lighter, calmer. That's not just a preference for tidiness. That's your healing instinct in action. You see, when you create order, you're not just organizing objects, you're reorganizing energy. You're transforming chaos into harmony. That's why people always feel better in your space. Even if they don't understand why, they say things like, "I don't know what it is, but I feel more grounded when I'm here." That's not a coincidence. That's your aura doing what it's designed to do, restore balance. Let me tell you about a Virgo teacher I once met. Her classroom was always immaculate, calm lighting, soft music, everything in its place. The moment kids walked in, even the rowdiest ones quieted down, not because she yelled, not because she demanded it, but because the environment she created spoke louder than any words. She didn't just set up a room. She cultivated sacred space, and the energy responded. Virgo. Your ability to sense what needs adjusting and then actually make the shift is rare. Most people either don't notice or don't care, but you do. And here's the real magic when you clean. It's not about appearances. It's an act of alignment. It's your soul communicating through your actions, restoring the natural rhythm that got knocked out of tune. This is also why you're so affected by clutter, noise, or disorganization. It's not about being picky, it's about self-preservation. Your nervous system reads the energy in a space, and when it's chaotic, you feel it as anxiety, fatigue, or irritation. You're literally wired to bring balance. And when your environment is out of sync, you can't fully operate at your best. So next time someone rolls their eyes because you want to fix the lighting or rearrange the table or tidy up a corner, smile, because what you're really doing is moving energy. You're healing the space. You're protecting your peace and raising the frequency of everyone around you. That's not just helpful. That's sacred work. And if you've ever had someone tell you they felt better just being in your home or around your energy, share that moment in the comments. You might not know it, but your natural gift to purify space could be the very thing that's kept someone from falling apart. Let's slow it down, Virgo, because this next part might hit home in a big way. You've been called overthinker, perfectionist, even obsessive. But what if I told you that constant stream of thoughts, it's not noise, it's guidance? What's happening in your mind isn't just analysis, it's reception. You're tuned in to something bigger. You're what I call a divine translator. That means your mind isn't just a processor, it's a receiver. You're not just thinking, you're channeling. Ideas drop into your head out of nowhere, but they feel so right. You walk into chaos, and somehow your brain instantly begins sorting, organizing, solving. And the craziest part, you often don't even realize you're doing it. This happens because your nervous system is deeply sensitive to universal intelligence. It's like your entire being is wired to pick up patterns, sense disharmony, and download solutions fast. While others are still talking about what's wrong, you're already building what's next. This is not random. This is divine wiring. You've always had access to a stream of clarity that others need rituals or meditation to reach. For you, it's just how you live. Take a moment to remember a time when someone came to you confused, overwhelmed, totally lost, and somehow, with just a few questions, a few words, you pulled them out of it. You didn't lecture, You didn't fix their life, but you said the right thing. You opened a door they couldn't see before. That right there is your gift in action. Virgos born from August 23rd to September 2nd often experience this as a sharp, intuitive logic. You just know what's off. Those born between September 3rd and 13th naturally organize not just stuff, but systems, people, even emotions. And if you were born from the 14th to 22nd, your words carry weight. You speak truth that cuts through confusion. You've got a mind that listens to more than logic. It listens to light. It listens to alignment. So the next time your thoughts come rushing in like a wave, don't push them away. Let them speak. Write them down. Say them out loud. The universe could be using you as its voice in that exact moment. And trust me, we need that voice more than ever. And here's something even deeper. Virgo, the reason why you sometimes feel like you're carrying thoughts that don't even belong to you, it's because you're not just translating for yourself. You're picking up signals for others. The mother who doesn't know how to fix her child's behavior. You feel her questions before she says a word. The friend who says they're fine, but their energy screams otherwise. You sense it before the mask slips. You are a vessel for clarity, and that clarity brings healing. You might not wear crystals or call yourself a channeler, but the truth is, you've been channeling all along through spreadsheets, advice, designs, music, emails, and even silence. You bring coherence to confusion. You bring truth without drama. That is what makes you different and divine. Let's be real for a second. Virgo, have you ever asked yourself, why do I feel so tired even when I haven't done that much? Why do I carry this low-grade exhaustion in my body, like a backpack that never comes off? The answer isn't about how much you're doing, it's about how much you're feeling and filtering. You're not just living your own life. You're absorbing the noise, the emotions, the unspoken tension of everyone around you. You walk into a room and feel everything, the resentment in the corner, the silent anxiety at the table, the guilt hiding behind small talk. Your body processes it all before your mind even has time to name it, and that's why you're tired. You weren't made to carry everyone's chaos. But your sensitivity makes it almost impossible not to. You don't just witness disharmony, you feel compelled to fix it, even when no one asks, even when no one realizes something's wrong. And because your spirit is wired for service, you give and give until your soul starts whispering, enough. Now, let me say this loud, your exhaustion is not a weakness. It's a sign. A spiritual signal that your gifts are running at full volume without a filter. You've been in rescue mode for too long, fixing everything, holding space for everyone, and forgetting that your energy, too, needs refilling. One Virgo told me she couldn't figure out why she'd crashed for 2 days after going to a family event. No drama happened, no fights. But energetically, she had picked up on everyone's stuff. Their sadness, their fear, their unspoken needs. She was like an emotional sponge in the middle of a storm. No wonder she collapsed after. Virgo, your power is real, but it needs boundaries. You don't have to feel guilty for stepping away. You don't have to explain why you need quiet. You're not cold. You're not being selfish. You're protecting your field and honoring your calling. So if you've been feeling drained, this is your invitation to pause, to breathe, to cleanse your own energy before tending to anyone else's. Remember, even a lighthouse needs time to recharge between storms. And you, Virgo, are that light. But no light can shine forever if the flame is never protected. And here's the thing, when you begin honoring that sensitivity instead of fighting it, something shifts. You stop running on empty. You stop attracting people who only take. You begin surrounding yourself with those who pour back into you. Your energy becomes clearer, stronger, more radiant, not because you did more, but because you protected your source. So, take this as your permission to rest, to say no without guilt, to sit in stillness and let the noise fall away. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Because the more you respect your limits, the more powerfully your light shines when it's needed. And make no mistake, Virgo, your light is needed now more than ever. Let's zoom out for a second. Virgo, you've spent so much of your life managing the little things, details, timing, planning, fixing what's broken, that maybe you've lost sight of the bigger picture. But let me remind you of something powerful. You didn't come here just to clean up messes. You came here to restore order to the world, to bring divine structure to human chaos. That's not just a job, that's a spiritual mission. You are here to bridge two worlds, the visible and the invisible, the logical and the mystical. While others are running from problems or burying their heads in the sand, you're the one quietly observing, mapping the chaos, and thinking, how can I make this better? That is not a small thing. That is cosmic work. Virgo, when you bring order to your own space, you're not just making your home look nice, you're creating a sacred environment that supports higher thought. When you help someone untangle their life, you're not just giving advice, you're guiding them back to alignment with truth. And when you call out what doesn't work, it's not criticism, it's an act of healing. You are a cosmic editor cutting out what doesn't belong so life can move more freely. And here's the secret, your gift doesn't have to be loud to be life-changing. It's in the soft correction, the simple solution, the quiet moment when you shift the energy of a room just by being fully grounded. Your power is subtle, but profound. So if you've ever wondered why people always turn to you when things fall apart, it's not because you're the fixer, it's because your soul holds the blueprint. You were built to see what's out of sync, and more importantly, how to bring it back into harmony. From this point on, don't just look at your need to organize as a quirk. See it as a calling. Don't downplay your clarity. Use it. Because the world doesn't just need more information, it needs integration. And Virgo, you are the one who knows how to do that. And here's something else, when you follow this path of sacred order, you start becoming magnetic. People feel drawn to you without knowing why. Your presence becomes a place of refuge, and your words, when spoken from that grounded clarity, begin to carry a weight that others can't ignore. Because you're not just speaking from the mind, you're speaking from truth. That's why you can walk into a mess and bring peace without raising your voice. That's why people feel more hopeful after being around you, even if you barely said a word. It's not about being flashy, it's about being real. And that's the true essence of your cosmic mission. Let's bring this full circle. Virgo, after everything we've talked about, the patterns you see, the energy you cleanse, the wisdom that moves through your mind, there's one thing left to do: own it. You're not just here to survive life. You're here to move through it like the cosmic force you are. You've spent years downplaying your gifts, calling them quirks, hiding your light so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable. But what if all those small moments, the gut feelings, the organized chaos, the words that landed just right, weren't random? What if they were signs of a greater plan unfolding through you? You've already been doing the work, even when you didn't know it had a name, even when no one acknowledged it. And now it's time to do it consciously, with intention, with power. That means trusting what you feel, acting on what you see, letting your need for alignment become your North Star, not your shame. Because when you operate from that place, Virgo, things begin to move. You begin to magnetize the right people, the right timing, the right opportunities, not because you're lucky, but because you're finally aligned with your divine rhythm. So here's what I want you to do the next time you get that quiet nudge, that feeling that something needs to shift, or be said, or cleaned, or created. Follow it. Don't question it. That's your soul speaking. That's your purpose whispering. Right there in the details. And if any part of you just felt seen in this video, don't let that go unnoticed. Drop a comment with a moment in your life when you felt that deeper knowing, that moment when your energy changed everything. Not just for you, but for someone else. Because your story might just be the mirror another Virgo needs to finally believe in theirs. And remember, Virgo, the universe didn't choose you by accident. It chose you because you can hold the complexity and still find the core truth. Because you can sense what's not working, but instead of running, you lean in and find a way through. That's what makes you a quiet warrior of light. You restore what others have given up on. You bring grace to mess. You bring clarity to noise. So yes, you feel deeply. Yes, you think constantly, but all of that is leading somewhere. Toward your full power. Toward the version of you who no longer hides, no longer doubts, no longer needs permission to be exactly who you are. Start now. Start today. And if no one has told you this yet, thank you. For being the one who notices what others ignore, for holding space even when you're the one hurting, for listening to the energy in the room when everyone else just talks louder. Virgo, you're not invisible. You're indispensable. Keep walking with clarity. Keep loving with precision. And when the world feels too noisy, too messy, too much, come back to yourself. Because the version of you who sees, who heals, who realigns, is exactly who the universe needs right now.